Hey, how you doing? This is RJ. Today I'm going to talk to you about Marvel becoming a lifestyle brand. And before you turn me off, I'm not going to talk about what everybody else is talking about. I'm going to talk about some new aspect of it. Usually what I do, because I want to explain this to especially the people who are new here, because I got a couple of new subscribers, is what I do is when I do a topic, it's usually about a week old because I got a very small channel and I'm waiting for the other people who have large channels to talk about it and, give their take on it because it deserves to be heard by a lot more people. And if they don't actually talk about the things that I think are important or they sort of get it wrong, then I'll do a video on it. So it gives me a little time to mull over my thoughts as well and not just come up with, but to basically organize my thoughts on what's missing here, what people are not getting. And I just wanted to say that, first of all, that's why my videos are structured the way they were. Tell that to my new subscribers, especially a new subscriber, Mr. Ibai Canales. Mr. Canales, yes. I forgot. I was quite remiss in not mentioning Mr. Canales in my roast of Iron Sights because he is the artist for Iron Sights, and I apologize for not roasting you quite specifically. I gave all of my complaints to Richard and set them at his feet, and I didn't mention Mr. Canales at all. But don't worry, Richard says that there might be a second part coming out for Iron Sights on the website, on the Indiegogo website, so I'll roast that too. Don't worry, I'll get some roasting in for you if he puts that out there. So, anyways, to get back to my topic that I want to talk about today, I want to talk about Marvel becoming a lifestyle brand. Now, I don't think that most people quite understand exactly what a lifestyle brand is. Now, I don't fault them for not knowing because it's kind of confusing, and especially because most people sort of equate it with Martha Stewart's lifestyle, which is a brand of itself. It came out, I think it started in the 90s, right? And she made things like, I don't know, plates and towels and things for your kitchen and for your bathroom, furniture and umbrellas, all the frilly things that girls want. Kinds of things like that, because if you go into a guy's place, he just has 2 plates that were stolen from Denny's, and he says, yeah, who needs more than 2 plates, right? So anyway, people think that Marvel is going to become something like that, that Marvel is going to put out all of these new products that are for people's lifestyles, but that's not actually what a lifestyle brand is. A lifestyle brand, it has nothing to do with what kind of products you're putting out at all. Actually, it's a way of de-emphasizing the products that you already have. It's not that they're going to put out new products. It's not that they're going to focus on these new products and sort of ignore the comics. Not at all. What lifestyle branding is, it's a way to market your product. It's a marketing tool. It's got nothing to do with production at all. It's for marketing. And you use it as a marketing tool, and it's a very, how would you describe it? It's a very counterintuitive tool to use for marketing. So usually for marketing, say you got a commercial, you take your new product, you put it in the middle of the commercial, you show it as many times as possible, you mention it as many times as possible, say, ooh, look, this is shiny, you need this to fill up your hole in your life or whatever, this or that, and you try to sell it, But when you have a lifestyle brand, because lifestyle branding is a marketing tool, you do the exact opposite of that. And we've all seen these. If it's basically a commercial where it's a little narrative about, say, somebody's life or the life of this family, and it doesn't show the product at all. Usually it doesn't show the product at all. And at the very last, it might flash up the logo. And you're sitting there in front of your television going, what? That's a commercial for Audi? How is that a commercial for Audi? That's lifestyle branding. That's a lifestyle brand. That's the way you market it. And you do subtle things like you take your logo's colors and put them in the background everywhere on this little narrative that you're showing or something like that. That's how you use lifestyle branding. Again, it's a marketing tool. So it goes in the background. You're not trying to sell directly. You're trying to sell very subtly by attaching yourself basically to a subculture. Usually it works, well, not usually, it works with subcultures. It has to work with a subculture. So you have people who sell products to a specific subculture, and it has to be there and it has to be established. And they say to themselves, okay, This is a subculture. It's a community. We as a company want to make ourselves a member of this community and help provide for this community so that when this subculture, the people in this subculture want to actually buy a product that we know they're going to buy, they're going to look at us and say, hey, maybe we should go there. So I'll give you an example of a lifestyle brand, and it's not one that's going to come to your mind at all when I say it. A lifestyle brand, example of a lifestyle brand is Harley Davidson. Didn't expect that, did you? No, Harley Davidson is a lifestyle brand because they have a subculture that they sell to, and this subculture is bikers. Bikers are a subculture, and they sell to this subculture, and they lifestyle brand their product by, I don't think I've seen very many Harley Davidson commercials where it just shows the bike and it gives you the stats and how fast it goes and all these other things. It doesn't do that, right? If they do put out a commercial, it's talking about things being sleek or whatever else, or how it will fit into your life, stuff like that. They'll also do stuff which I'm just giving this as an example. I don't know if this is actually true or not. It might be. Let's say we'll stick with Harley Davidson here. So there's a whole bunch of biker things that go on all over North America. You get hundreds or thousands of bikers getting together and they basically drive from one place to another. All right. So a lifestyle branding tool for marketing would be, let's say Harley Davidson produces an app and it lets people have it for free. And on this app, it will show all of these routes that bikers will take with all of these events that are going on. And it will have things that bikers usually need. It will show you where all the rest stops are. It will show you the rest stops that are best for bikers, where you can get out of the rain. It'll show you places to eat that bikers usually frequent. It will give you places where you can go to get repairs in case you break down on your journey from here to there. And it will also show you everywhere along the way that there is a Harley Davidson shop. And your app will probably have the little app on your phone will be the Harley Davidson symbol. So they'll give you that for free. And it'll just be there in the background. And so you press this thing and you find it's very helpful and useful to you as a member of this subculture community. And the next time you go to buy a bike, you think to yourself, hey, Harley Davidson is a really good member of our community. Maybe I should buy a Harley Davidson instead of a BSA. Yes, I know. Just go with me. Anyways, this is what the kind of thing that you do with a lifestyle brand. Okay. So hopefully you got that stuck in your head. That's what it is. It's basically a type of marketing which de-emphasizes the product. It's got nothing to do with what you're going to produce as a product. So I'm going to look at this one way and then as another way. First, as someone from Comicsgate, this was my original reaction to it. And this is the way most people would probably react to it right off. And if you look at it, and if that's what a lifestyle brand is, then Marvel is screwing this up right from the get-go. Why? Well, because first of all, this announcement is coming out of Marvel Entertainment. It's not coming out of Marvel Comics, and they're two separate things. Although, even though it's coming out from Marvel Entertainment, they're also talking about comic books, so we'll say that it's included in this as well. But again, the whole purpose of having a lifestyle brand is that it is directed towards a subculture. There has to be a subculture there. But Marvel Entertainment, it's not a subculture. It doesn't have a subculture which it is going to appeal to. The mass majority of people who go see Marvel movies are not part of a subculture. They're just people who go see movies, people who like good movies, people who maybe want to see science fiction or who like fantasy or things like that. They're not actually fans or part of this subculture of any kind of comic book hero or anything like that. Let's say I have this friend, okay, and she goes to see almost every Marvel movie. And when we get to talk about Marvel movies every once in a while, she says things like, yeah, I really like the new Avengers, but I don't understand why they don't have Superman in the Avengers, because they should really have Superman in the Avengers. And of course, I facepalm and just try to explain to her that there is a difference between Marvel and DC, that there are different companies for comics and they have different universes and they don't overlap, and you can't have Superman in the Avengers. You just can't. And even though I try to explain it as best I can, as simply as I can, she doesn't quite get it. So obviously, she's not part of some kind of subculture, but she would be a very good example of the majority of the people who go see Marvel movies. So this is just normal culture. She's just part of normal culture. The people who they sell to are just part of the normal everyday culture. And in order to have a lifestyle brand, it's got to be to a subculture. That's the way it works. So if they're trying to take lifestyle branding and put it towards just normal culture, it's going to fail miserably. But let's say they're trying to create a subculture. That's what Marvel Entertainment is trying to do. Maybe they're trying to create a subculture. Well, that doesn't work at all either, because a subculture is quite literally something that is grassroots. It just comes about through people associating themselves with each other around something or other. And if you try to create a subculture, that's not a subculture at all. That's just a company. It's a company-based thing that is going to be constructed artificially. It's not a subculture. And if a company tries to make themselves the head of a subculture, well, again, subcultures are grassroots. And they'll look at somebody who wants to try to be the head of their subculture and say, no, go away. We don't want you here anymore. We don't want you even part of our community anymore. Leave. So, again, if that's what they're trying to do, failing miserably, it's going to fail miserably. So, it doesn't work that way. However, there is a very specific subculture that Marvel can sell to, and that's just there, and everybody knows. I'm sure you've probably picked up on this already. That subculture would be comic book people, right? People who read comic books. That's a subculture. They could be looking to sell to those kinds of people and using their lifestyle brand and using comic book readers as their subculture base, because lifestyle branding needs a subculture base. Maybe that's what they're doing. Again, if that's what they're doing, they're screwing it up royally. Why? Because to use a lifestyle brand as a marketing tool, it's playing the long game. Okay, it's not, we're going to make money off this now. It's not anything that's going to be immediate. It's a long game. And in order to play the long game for marketing, you need three things. You need a very healthy, good product. You need a product that is going to stand the test of time. And you need a very healthy customer base in this subculture who wants your product. And it may be stable, it may be increasing, can't be decreasing. So for Marvel Comics, none of these things are true. Their product itself is in the worst shape ever. Most people would say Marvel's product has never been so bad. It also has no staying capacity because they put out these things and they got to be canceled. One after another after another. And on top of that, the customers don't want it. The subculture customers of comic book buyers don't want this product. And how can I say that? Well, look at the numbers. Again, look at the cancellations. Numbers are going down for comic book sales. Numbers are certainly going down for Marvel comic book sales. They're going down, down, down every year. So none of these things are true. So again, if they're using the comic book subculture as the people who they are going to be marketing this lifestyle brand to, they can't do that. It just won't work because they can't be playing the long game with such a poor product and such an already poor association with this subculture. So, failing on many levels. Many, many levels they're failing on. Now, that's the way to look at it that would just come to your mind originally, I'd say. And it's sort of the Comicsgate way of looking at it. If you understand very specifically what a lifestyle brand is, that's what comes to your mind. But there's another way of looking at it, because think about for a second, how probable is it that they're screwing this up on so many levels? Now, I know some of you might think to yourself, well, look at Marvel today and how much they're screwing up everything. The fact that they might be screwing this up over and over and over again at so many levels, it's probable, but, it's not that probable. It's not that probable that they're messing it up here and they're messing it up there and then again, and at its very inception and origin, they're also messing that up. Somebody must be good at marketing and say, hey, just hold on a second here. Maybe we should step back and look at this again. It's not that probable that they're messing it up in so many ways and fundamentally and still continuing on with it as a plan. However, there is one way that you can look at this where their, I don't know what we would call it, their mindset of turning Marvel into a lifestyle brand actually makes sense, and it makes much more probable sense. And the thing is that it makes very probable sense, but it is extremely disturbing. Okay, so I'm going to go over that. How is it that you can look at this and say they're getting everything right? All right, let's assume, we'll start with assumptions, okay? Let's assume that Disney's a Marvel, is getting everything right with this. That putting out this lifestyle brand, they're getting everything right. That they have a specific subculture that they're going to sell to. That they have a good relationship with this subculture. That they have evidence that this subculture wants this product. Now, I'm not going to go into whether it's good or bad evidence. That's another topic completely. But let's just say they have evidence that this subculture wants this product. That they're trying to make themselves part of this community. And we have evidence of that. You'll always hear these Marvel writers and editors and everything else saying, hey, no, comic books is a community. We're part of a community. They're always trying to insert themselves into community, right? So we got a little bit of evidence of that. So that they're trying to become a member of the community, not a leader of the community, not someone who's created the community, just a member of the community. And as a member of the community, they can put things out, say, hey, maybe we should do this over here. And the community can ignore it or not ignore it, but they're just a member of the community. Now, let's say all of these things are true and that they're getting these things right across the board for lifestyle branding. There is only one way that they can get all of these things right. And this is the disturbing part. Let's say that that's all correct, that they know what they're doing, that their marketing department is actually capable and knows what they're doing. It all works out in one very specific way. All you got to do is change out who that subculture is. The subculture is not comic book readers. The subculture is not you and me. Subculture is not that clique of guys who stand around at your comic shop discussing things. Your subculture is not comic book fans at all, either new or old. Their subculture that they are doing this all for is SJWs. Quite specifically. Because SJWs are a subculture. Marvel has been trying to become part of this community, this subculture, for some time now. It has been putting out things, little things here and there for this subculture, left, right, and center for the last at least 4 years now. They are trying to become a part of this community. And now they are trying to sell specifically to this community and this community only. And if you go on Marvel's Twitter, you can really see this. And the reason I got hung up by this whole Sana Amanat idiotic interview thing was because I went over to Marvel's Twitter to look at how many comic book things I could actually find in their Twitter feed. And I would go down until it would have to reload the page and go down again and again and again. And usually between the top of the page and where the page would have to reload, I would find one, maybe two, the odd time 3 things actually about comic books in this whole string of things that they're posting on their Twitter page. Because they're lifestyle branding, of course. They're already lifestyle branding. And they're not about comic books. It's about SJW nonsense. These things that they're posting are quite specifically for your Antifa-loving socialist-minded, capitalist-hating, effeminate man-child, toxic feminist SJWs. That's what they're doing. And it can be seen. You go over to their Twitter site, start going through some of these things. See how many beta males are being shown in all of their little clips, because everything's a little clip, right? So, this is positive, proof positive. I would say 99% proof positive. Them saying that they're going to change Marvel into a lifestyle brand. Is Marvel quite specifically saying, through their actions and their money and their use of advertising, that we don't want comic buyers to actually buy our comics anymore? We don't want them to buy comics so much that we're not even going to advertise to them anymore. We are going to advertise to SJWs and SJWs alone. That is the subculture that we are going to back. And that's the only subculture that we are going to even advertise to. This is what is going on with them saying that they're going to turn Marvel into a lifestyle brand. Again, I can say quite specifically, this move shows that. I would say 99%. This is their marketing tool move that has tipped their hand. This is what they're doing. And the more disturbing part of this still is the fact that they're doubling down. You know, it was about 2014 when they said, well, let's make Marvel into an SJW company and we'll market to SJWs because this is big untapped market. And to us out here in the real world, we look and say it failed miserably. So what are they doing here? Well, they're doubling down. And usually when you double down on something, you say, okay, this failed the first time, but I'm going to throw more money at it this time, and it's going to work this time. It's going to stick this time. That's usually what doubling down is. But they're not even doing that. If you look at the way that they're actually marketing things, the face on this is that their 2014 Let's Become an SJW company, in their minds, worked out so well that they are now moving into phase 2. And phase 2 is to market solely and only to SJWs. That's what this move says. That they think that the original plan to sell to SJWs and open up a new market worked out so spectacularly well for them in their minds that they're going to move on to the next stage and only sell to them now. That's the really disturbing part. That's how messed up Disney's Marvel is right now. So yeah, whenever you hear somebody come out and say something either specifically or offhand, just roundabout, that no, these books aren't for you, they specifically mean that. They're not actually selling to you. It doesn't matter if you're a comic buyer and they're a comic producer. They're not even going to consider you, not even in their advertising anymore. They're only selling to SJWs, according to even their advertising now. That's the subculture that they're backing. And, you know, people thought that when CB Spolsky came in, he was going to be the end of SJW Marvel and it was going to change. And we kind of had plenty of opportunities to say, well, it's kind of not the case. But this shows quite exactly this is not the case at all. That they had never ever planned to get rid of SJW Marvel. That they simply are just continuing on with it. And there might be a couple of bumps in the road, but they're full steam ahead. And they never stop being full steam ahead. Now, this is bad news, good news. And the good news is only very, very small good news. Because they are looking to expand it into a lifestyle brand. Like I said at the very first, this came from Marvel Entertainment Group. And it included everything. They're putting everything under one blanket now, even though Marvel Entertainment Group is only supposed to deal with the movies, and Marvel Comics deals with the comics, and I think also the television shows. But they're saying to themselves, this worked so spectacularly well with the comics that not only are we moving into phase 2 with the comics, but we're taking phase 1 and we're putting it into the television shows now. And we can see that with the Marvel Rising that's coming out and the cartoons. So the comics way of putting SJW stuff into it, that's going to move on to the television shows now. It's already moved on to the cartoon ones. It's going to move on to the rest later. And after they get that done, it's going to move on to the movies. Because it works so spectacularly well with the comics, they're going to keep on going full steam ahead. So in the near future, because we have some inkling of this happening with the new Captain Marvel movie that's coming out, and stirrings and rumors and some plans to do a Kamala Khan movie and all of these kinds of things, that this is where they're going. They're specifically planning to turn, they're not going to turn around with the comic books. They're going straight full ahead. They're not going to only go straight full ahead with the comic books. They're going to impose that on the movies, on the shows. They already started. They're going to make them full SJW soon, and they're going to impose that on the movies soon enough. Again, that's the disturbing part. Bad news. Good news is, and this might only be good news, is that if they put these things into the movies, because when comics fail, they don't care. They really don't care. These books make pittance for Disney's Marvel. You know, you got your big pot of Disney money to draw from, so the amount of money that they're losing is just small little change. But when you start losing hundreds of millions of dollars on movies time after time that are just bad movies that no one wants to see, that might change somebody's mind. And I only say might. That's why I say it's good news, but sort of small good news, because it might change their minds. Because we're looking at Star Wars right now, which is also owned by Disney, and they put full SJW into that, and it's starting to fail miserably movie after movie, but they're still not budging. They're still not turning around. They're still not saying, hey, maybe this wasn't a good idea. They're still blaming other people. That's the leftist way. Blame others. Don't look at yourself. Always point a finger. Never look in the mirror. So, maybe when these movies start losing hundreds of millions of dollars time after time, we might get rid of this SJW nonsense. But I'm here to tell you with this video right here, right now, things are going to get so much more worse before they get any better, if they get better at all, or if Marvel just goes out of business. It's going, this train wreck has only started. Everybody's looking at SJW and Marvel and going, oh, what a train wreck. Oh, what a dumpster fire. Maybe since it's now over, we can start again. No, it's not even close to over. It's just started. This train wreck has just started. And this whole idea of lifestyle branding shows you that even though it's a train wreck, they're just laying on the throttle at Marvel. Full steam ahead. All right. So, that's a cheery note to end on, isn't it? I guess if I gave you some new ideas, if I covered something new, hit like, hit subscribe, share the link. I have a Twitter page. It's up there on the top of my YouTube channel. You know, you could share those on your Twitter. That would be great. Try to get these ideas out there. If you like my idea, share it with other people. That would be great. I like to share these ideas so that we can hopefully use them to make comics better. Because that's what we want to do with Comicsgate. We want to make comics better. All right. I'll see you later. Bye.